tensions, Deroy Murdock and Stuart Holliday. Stuart, let me start with you. It's a mess out there. I think President Trump has said that on more than one occasion. What do you, first of all, this thuggery that we saw from the bodyguards in Turkey and Turkey's reaction? I think the real message here is that this may not be the Turkey that NATO thought they were getting when they said, okay, we'll make you a member.
Well, of course, when that all took place, it was designed to balance out the tensions between Turkey and Greece. We'll let them both in at the same time. We always knew Turkey had a culture that was in evolution, but they had this idea of Ataturk and a secular government, and they've had issues back and forth with their military governments. But more recently, what we've seen is a trend towards some level of autocracy, changing the Constitution. And so, of course, in our country, we have the right to protest. And unfortunately, those two cultures met there on that circle on Massachusetts Avenue. It doesn't look pretty.
No, it doesn't look pretty, but those two cultures, Deroy, should never meet in America.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, looking at this footage, you think this happened in the streets of Ankara or Istanbul or something like this. There's a very interesting detail in this CBS story here. It says, Voice of America's Turkish service released video showing Erdogan, the president of Turkey, observing from the backseat of a car while the Turkish security team pursued and attacked the protesters. That's remarkable. So you have this man who's a head of state looking on as his agents are beating people in the streets of America. And I agree with what Congressman DeSantis said. They should be declared persona non grata and not allowed to return to this country ever again.
I wish we could arrest them, but I don't know if they have diplomatic immunity or not. What are your thoughts, Roy, about with Venezuela? Because it really, I know that the Maduro government has given weapons to peasants. Over the last 5-6 years, even when Chavez was alive, they were upping the pay dramatically for the police and the soldiers, understanding that perhaps a day of reckoning was going to come.
Yeah, I think one thing to remember is Venezuela, this is a socialism showcase. I mean, if you want to see what a socialist government looks like, there it is. I mean, people literally do not have toilet paper, if you can imagine that. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida has a good idea, which is that one thing Maduro might respond to is diplomatic isolation on the part of the Organization of American States. It's one thing to be attacked by Washington, D.C., but if you have Buenos Aires and Lima, Peru, and the other Latin states around him condemning him and telling him that he ought to back off, he might respond to that, perhaps.
You know, Stuart, there was a time when Chavez saw himself unifying South America under sort of that, leftist ideology. I think that's when crude oil was $150 a barrel. So now where do we go from here with Venezuela in our backyard? Certainly a powder keg going to blow at any moment.
Well, as you said, the tide has shifted against the sort of Bolivarian socialism that he espouses. Countries around the region have figured it out that they can't sustain their economy simply by passing out handouts to the peasants and then expecting them to go to the ballot box. You have to have a sustainable economy. I think his days are numbered. I agree with Deroy about the Organization of American States. Every time the United States says anything about Venezuela, he can go to the streets and say, look what the Yankees are saying about us. But when it's his own neighborhood, his regional group saying that the time has come, it's different.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both very much. I've got breaking news. Right now, police are responding to